Hey guys, so I'm making up some care package treats to send to Emma and Zach that I was talking about. And so I showed you guys the recipe a little bit yesterday, and I'm actually going to change it up just a bit, but I thought it'd be fun for you guys to see what I'm making and if you want to make it too. So this is the original recipe. I'll hang out here for a second in case you want to pause it and get that recipe. And then I'm just changing up some of the like ratios of things because it calls for quite a bit of sugar. So I'm gonna kind of swap out some sugar for some applesauce. I'm gonna take a little bit of flour out and do more on the oats, just some little subs. Yeah, so let me take you through everything. So, gosh, all right. So white flour, brown sugar, flax seed, which is going to be the egg replacer, and then quick oats, applesauce, baking soda, vegan butter, earth balance is what I use. And then these are going to be mix-ins, and you can use anything you want, but I have some of the coconut chips, which normally I'd like the coconut flakes, like the non-dried kind, but that's what we had. And then some dried cranberries, some chopped up pecans, and some Enjoy Life chocolate chips, which are dairy-free and good to go on the vegan front. And then I have some vanilla, cinnamon. I'm going to put in some turmeric, nutmeg, and a little bit of salt. And really the thing is with recipes like this, especially when you're making bars and stuff, you can kind of use whatever you have. So the main things are like the flour, the oats, the brown sugar, the baking soda, the butter. But then after that, you can really kind of freestyle it, put in what you have, you know, if you want to do like marshmallows in it, that might be fun. If you want to do like fresh fruit, you could do fresh blueberries, that'd probably be really yummy. So I'm going to be making a double batch because I'm sending it to both of them. So these are the amounts I'm using for a double batch there, and I'll walk you through that. But just keep in mind, if you want to make this and you don't want to make 2 trays, to just half everything that I'm doing. And I'll put the recipe that I'm using in the description below. Cool. So I'm going to set the oven and we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is we're going to make up our flax egg, and the recipe calls for 1 egg. Woo. And because I'm doubling, I'm going to go ahead and make 2 of these. Okay, so to make 1 flax egg, you do 1 tablespoon of flax and you do 3 tablespoons of water. So I'm doubling that, and I've got 2 tablespoons in there, and now I'm going to put in 6 tablespoons of water. Woo! It's splashing everywhere. And then I will mix that up. Great, so there's our flax egg, and we'll just let that sit. It'll probably take about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes for that to become what we need, and we'll start adding in the other stuff. What's nice about this recipe is it's basically just put everything into the bowl except for the oats and any of your toppings, and like mix, and then you add in that stuff. So it's super simple. So it's gonna be 2 cups of flour, and then 1 cup of brown sugar. Okay, and then I'm adding in about a half a cup, I just eyeballed it, of applesauce, and I might add up to 3/4, just depending on how wet the mixture is, if it needs more moisture. Then 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, and then we need 3/4 a cup of our earth balance, and while they do sell earth balance in sticks, we didn't have any, so I'm just gonna scoop them in and put 3/4 cups on it. So here's number 1, number 2, and there's number 3. And then the original recipe didn't call for vanilla, but I just feel like vanilla can't hurt anything. So a nice splash of that. And then same thing goes for the turmeric and cinnamon. Wasn't called for, but I'm just gonna put a little bit in for a little bit of health and flavor, especially with the cinnamon. It smells so good. I go pretty heavy on my cinnamon. And I almost forgot the nutmeg. This isn't a grinder, so I can't show you because I don't have enough hands, but I'm just gonna put 1 or 2 little grinds of that in. And then by the time you've gotten all of that sorted, your flax egg should be ready to go. And you see how it's kind of thickened up and come together? So we'll put that in. And then that's everything for the base. Woo! Come on. So then I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up. It does say use a stand mixer, and while we do have one over there, I don't know, I just always like when I'm baking, especially for people, I like baking and making it myself and stirring it myself. I feel like it always just comes out a little bit better. So I'm gonna grab a whisk and whisk that all together. And if you're mixing by hand and it does get all clumped on, no worries, just take a spoon or a knife and just pull it all out and keep going. Mixing for a bit, and I did switch to a spatula, but it seems just a little bit dry, so I'm gonna add that just 1/4 cup more of applesauce and keep mixing just to make sure it's wet enough. All right, yeah, that is much better now, a little bit wetter. And you have to take into account that you're gonna be adding more dry ingredients to this, so you do want it to be a little sticky. Yeah, so now I'm gonna add in our other goodies. And just, if you're hand mixing, a good key is try to not over mix, you know, just until it's enough combined. And to keep in mind for this recipe, you're gonna keep mixing once you add the other stuff, because if you over mix, then what can happen is your dough can become really tough and not so yummy. So give me just a second, then I'll show you what I'm putting in. Okay, so now all that's left to add is the quick oats and then our add-ins. So you need 2 cups of quick oats, and I'm just gonna use the same one that I used for the applesauce. Let me just suck on. And what's really nice about this recipe too is none of this needs to be precise, just, you know, eyeball it. So that's 1, and then I'll put in 2. So our first mix-in is gonna be these Enjoy Life mini chips, and I know Emma and Zach really like chocolate, so I am gonna go pretty heavy. That was probably about half the bag-ish, you know? None of this needs to be too precise. And then I have some dried cranberries, and while Emma, I think, is on board with dried cranberries, Zach's a little less enthusiastic, so I'm just gonna add some, and I'm gonna try to break them up so they're not in little clumps. And then we have some pecan pieces. Give a sprinkle of those. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is these coconut shreds. And again, Emma, coconut fan, Zach, not as much. So I'm gonna put them in, and I'm also gonna give them a nice kind of crunch up so that they're smaller pieces. Don't want them too big. And then we're just gonna stir this all together. And the best way to mix is always to cut through the center and then, sorry, need more hands, fold it around. And just keep doing that until it's all mixed together. Great, it's starting to come together. You can see how the oats are starting to get incorporated. And I did just want to say this recipe would be very easy to make gluten-free if there's anyone who's gluten-free out there. I know my roommate Sammy's gluten-free. So as long as you got gluten-free oats and used a flour blend instead of traditional flour, you could definitely change this to gluten-free. And I think it would work pretty well because sometimes gluten-free stuff will be a little bit sandy in texture with the oat flour blends. But because this also has all of the quick oats in it, I think that it would kind of take care of any texture issues. So just a thought. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are there. You can see looking good, looking gooey. So now I'm gonna grab a tray or a couple of trays. And for now, I mean, I wouldn't want to send them anything that's not like really quality. So I'm gonna have to, not bad, not bad. I might, I think I'm gonna add in a little bit more salt and maybe a little more cinnamon, just to like a bit more, just to punch it up. But then, yeah, I'll grab those trays. So I put them into, these are 2 8x8 trays. Make sure you pan or grease your pans. And then I had just a little bit extra, so I made just like a little bit in a loaf tin so that I could try them, but you could also totally just keep piling it on. They're not super thick. They're probably about, gosh, 1/4 of an inch deep, 1/2 an inch deep. You can just decide, like you can make them really big and thick and chewy. I just decided to do them a bit on the thinner side. And then, yeah, so now I'm gonna pop them into the oven and let's see, how long does it say? It says 375, 15 to 20 minutes. And so we'll watch them because sometimes vegan recipes bake a little bit differently than their traditional ones. So I will keep you updated on how long it is. For the fun part, while they bake, I get to clean. Woo! I have to say, one really nice thing about being home is a dishwasher. But this wasn't that bad of a dishes recipe if you think about it. I think it's just one bowl, 2 measuring cups I used. Yeah, so really not that bad. Definitely doable in a dorm. I did want to say the reason I'm using those metal kind of tins, the disposable kind, is because they are for care packages, and that way they ship really easy. They fit in the like flat rate boxes, and yeah. And then to send them, Emma's will go out soon, probably today or tomorrow, and then Zach's is going to be frozen until his Easter care package is ready to go. And what we do is vacuum seal them. My mom has a vacuum sealer because we send boxes to other soldiers, not just Zach, so overseas, people who are deployed. So that helps to keep them nice and fresh. So that's what we'll do later. And then I thought I'd show you some other goodies that I'm gonna put in Emma's. So nothing too exciting, just a couple odds and ends. So I have this peanut butter filled Cliff Bar, and then a white chocolate macadamia. And then this Justin's butter, which is like Nutella, but vegan. And then I found these, and they're just little like animal crackers basically, and they're super cute. And then Emma's a big tea drinker, and I don't have her favorites here right now. I went out and picked this stuff up, but I didn't think about tea. So I'm gonna send her some chai and a peppermint, because sometimes it's nice to just mix up your tea, even if you have a favorite. And then I got her one of those vegan caramel truffles as well. And when we were down in the Springs the other day, I picked up some postcards, and I'm gonna send her one of these. We'll see which one. And then a couple of my other friends are gonna be getting ones. And then we also found this super cute box. Let me see if I can open it. Oh yeah, one-handed. And give me one sec, I'm gonna pause you so I can get it out. Okay, so inside of the little box there is this note, and it says, "The legend of the dream box, often attributed to Lemura," I hope I'm pronouncing that right, "suggests writing down your fondest dream, greatest desire, strongest wish on a small piece of paper, putting that paper in a dream box and placing it by your bed. Every evening as you retire and every morning as you rise, hold your dream box and think of your dream, believing with all your heart that it is so. Legend has that if done faithfully, your dream will come true." So I just thought that that was super adorable, and in college I just feel like any sort of thing that can be a reminder of positivity, of a reminder of like why you're there, why you're doing this, is a good thing. So that's probably all that's going to be in the box. We'll see if there's a little more space. I might throw some other things in. Emma is not vegan. It's funny, she says she could never be vegan. She's vegetarian right now, I want to say for Lent, and was pescatarian for a while. She keeps flip-flopping. I think she's really headed towards vegetarian, but has said, "Oh, I could never be vegan," which I just think is funny because that's exactly what I said. It was first like, "Oh, I could never be vegetarian," and then it was like, "I could never be vegan," and here I am. So I can't force her to adopt a vegan lifestyle. I can just be a positive, or a hopefully positive, role model for it, and supply her with yumminess that is vegan, and just wait and be supportive. Yeah, so we'll see how these are doing. They got about 6 minutes left, and I'm all cleaned up. Let's have a peek. Let's see. Ooh, they're getting toasty. Oh, they really puffed up. That's nice. Wish you guys could smell my house right now. It smells so good. So I just wrote up her card. Her name's Emma, but I call her Emma because whenever we were in high school and we were in like a crowded room, I would be like, "Emma, Emma, Emma," and she would never respond. And then I'd be like, "Emma," and she'd turn around right away. So it just became her name. And then I signed it, surprise, surprise, Best, Gretchen. So those are just about done. So I'm gonna go either add some more time or pull them out. All right, let's take a look. Those are looking pretty good. I'm thinking, yeah, slightly soft on the tops. I'm gonna give them just a bit longer because they did puff up and I don't want them to lose that fall. Okay, so that was 5 more minutes. I think they're good. Let's take a look. Because you don't want them to go brown on you. You just don't want them to be too gooey, squishy either. Yeah, those are looking. Okay guys, yeah, totally done. These smell so incredible. It just smells like, I don't know, like anytime you like come home and your mom's like made chocolate chip cookies or something. So when you're looking at them to check them, they've gone sort of golden brown, they've puffed up, and now when I tap them lightly, they kind of push back on me, you know? They're not like getting dented. So that's what's gonna tell you that they're done. Okay, those smell way too good and I'm having trouble waiting. So I decided I'm also gonna throw into Emma's care package a little like pre-made hot cocoa mix. Okay, so I'm sending her enough to make 2 like mugs full. So I did 4 spoonfuls of sugar and then 6 spoonfuls of cocoa powder. I don't even know how much cinnamon, lots of cinnamon, sprinkled that in, and then some nutmeg. And I go light on nutmeg because I feel like sometimes it can overpower stuff. I probably gave her enough marshmallows for like 4 cups, but you know what? When you're in college, you don't want to be skimping on your marshmallows and your hot chocolate, so she's all set. So just before I have that taste test, I just wanted to show you, I will be putting these in a vacuum sealer and then that'll go into the box. And then I've got all of the goodies that I'm gonna send to Emma and they'll head in, and I added in some little pencils. So that's it for that. What do you think? How'd I do on the care package front? What would you add? What would you take away? What do you like to get when you're a college student? Yeah, now let's go try that bar. All right, they're out. So I ended up cutting kind of a little differently than I said I was gonna, but don't those look yummy? They really did puff up a lot more than I thought they were going to. Oh, and I have a chocolate on my finger. That's good. But let's give these a try. Okay. Okay. Those are really good. I was worried because I did mess with like the recipe quite a bit, especially with the sweetness, but it's totally sweet enough. The chocolate chips are delicious. You can really taste the cinnamon, and it's like fun because there's different textures in it, and then like you'll be chewing and you'll be like, oh, I got chocolate, and then you're like, oh no, I got walnut or pecan, whatever I put in, and then you're like, no, there's cranberry. So super fun, super hearty, like bar cookie crossover. So yeah, so leave me a comment down below if you try this out, if you want to try this out, if you have any questions about any like substitutions, or just like how to veganize any recipe. And if you guys make this, let me know how it is, because mine turned out 10 out of 10. All right, I'm going to eat the rest of this. I hope you guys have a rockin' day. Best.